Hi everybody. It's Wednesday, and I think at one time wasn't Wednesday like Prince Spaghetti Day or something like that. Well, anyway, in my house today, it's going to be homemade farfalle with some Italian sausage and rapini. So that'll be next, but right now we're gonna start with making some homemade pasta. And yes, I'm making it right here on my counter because that's how I do things. I'm going to take an egg, I'm going to crack it in a bowl, and the only reason I'm doing that is because I've got 1/4 of a cup of water in there also. I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna put just a splash of olive oil in here. Probably like about a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half. A little bit of salt on my flour, and I've got 1 cup of flour right now, right here. I've got another 1/2 cup, I'm sorry, this is a whole cup. I've got 2 cups of flour there right now. And I'm going to put my eggs right here in the middle. All right, so I've got this little fort set up here so that hopefully my eggs are not gonna go flying around. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna start beating it like I already was beating it in the bowl. I'm gonna start taking a little bit of that flour into the center. Now I'm gonna keep doing this by hand with this fork until I've got a thickness that won't run out all over my counter. Many years ago, we used to teach, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you, when Groupon first came out, we were doing, I think at one point we had 400 ravioli classes over at Piatti Pronti, which was insane. But I can't tell you how many times I was chasing eggs around the counters as people were breaking down their forts instead of getting the eggs thick enough first. So right now it's getting pretty thick. It doesn't look like it's gonna run away on me. And we're just gonna keep adding flour to this until we get it to the consistency that'll work really well for our pasta. So right now I can ditch the fork. It's not going anywhere. I'm gonna grab myself a glove. And you know how that's gonna go. One-handed special. And get this on. So I'm showing you this first because this needs to sit and rest after I get all this mixed together for about a good 30 minutes. So I'm gonna get this together first. And I'm just gonna add flour in as I need it. And it is still quite wet, so I'm sure gonna probably use most of this flour. Get this really well incorporated. I love making pasta. Maybe it goes back to playing with things. Maybe I used to like to play with mud as a kid, I don't know. I just think it's so much fun to just get in there and play with the dough, and I think I've got enough here. I'm gonna separate that out. I'm gonna leave this flour on the side. Get this to come together. Take that off of there. A little bit more moisture I can use. Okay. Very good. All right, I'm gonna do this in my hand. So I like to bring this all together and really work it. Try to pull all that together, all that out. And if you see that it ends up being a little bit dry, you can always just add just a little bit of water. However, I think it's coming, it's looking good. A little bit of water in there. Good. I think I'm gonna get just about. And again, I'm gonna do this the same way as I did it with my bread. Yum. Okay, there we go. So you really want to knead this for about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. Really get that dough nice and worked together. And like you can see, you know, recipes are not always the same, and especially depending on what the temperature is. Today, especially, I have the air conditioning on because it's like 90 degrees outside. So there's not as much humidity in here as usual. So I need a little bit more liquid. Now it's coming nicely together. So I would say this is probably more like 1.5 cups of flour, 1 egg, 1/4 cup of water, a couple teaspoons of olive oil, and about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This I'm going to put away for later because I might need that when I'm rolling later on. So, okay, got a nice dough going here. I am going to not have you sit around and watch me knead for the next 10 minutes. So we'll come back in a few minutes and I'll start the next process. Okay, so what I did after I got done kneading my dough is I wrapped it in some saran and I've let it now sit for about 1/2 hour. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the stove on and I'm going to cook up some Italian sausage. So what we're actually going to be making again is farfalle with rapini and Italian sausage. Okay, so I'm going to get that going. Air conditioning's on today, so we've got wind blowing through the house. All right, now I'm going to start with my farfalle, making my pasta. I'll wrap it up nice and tight here. Too tight, maybe? Nope. All right, you want to put a lot of flour down. Don't be afraid to use flour. Oh my gosh, this is so tender now. Beautiful. All right, don't be afraid to use some flour. Gonna put some all over. I'm gonna try to do this in a rectangular shape. You'll understand why when I start to cut it. Okay, so I'm gonna use my trusty rolling pin here. And yes, I'm making this by hand. Yes, you could do this in a pasta maker, but I'm choosing to do this by hand. Okay, I've got enough flour, so I'm setting the rest of this off to the side. Dust some of it off so it stops flying around on me. There you go. And again, this isn't going to be a lot of pasta. Probably a perfect amount for 2 people. And I'm going to move this around again. Oh, it's stretching really nice. And I hear my sausage starting to sizzle in the background. Okay, voila. Again, remember when you're doing this, make sure you go from the middle down so you get it all nice and even, especially if you're doing it by hand. You know, it's gonna get a lot nicer if you had a machine, but you know, you don't have to have a machine to make pasta. Like I've told you before in the past, I never had a machine. We always did it by hand. Okay. We're going to turn this down a little bit. And I'm also going to pierce this sausage because I bought it at the store and I'm sure That wasn't a thing. Okay. That is good. All right, we're going to square it off. Try to make it as even as possible. Now, I won't throw these away. These are great pasta noodles. All right, so I'm going to make long strips. Oh, about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Don't forget, these will grow. If you have a cutter that has the variegation on it, the little roller, that's great too, but I don't know where mine is, so I'm doing it just with the plain one. All right, a few oddballs here and there. So, very simple. You take the piece of dough, you could either pinch it like this and push it like that, and you've got a farfalle. I don't know that I need all this flour either because these are pretty dry. Or sometimes I'll take them on the opposite, point to point, and I'll just squeeze them in the middle, like that. And get my little farfalle, my little bows this way. But I think we're going to do them square, and we're going to pinch them and push them in. Fold them, and then push them in. Okay, so this is not a very difficult pasta. This is actually one that the kids could enjoy making. Again, you're going to fold it in half. Right in the middle, you hold it, you push the back end, and then you pinch it. Wow, that's making some noise back there. This one's a little bit on the big side. I'm going to take a little piece off. Okay. All right, we can turn these around. I hope this doesn't make too much noise, but I think I'm going to have to put it on. Otherwise, we could have my smoke alarm going off very soon. All right, gonna finish these up. Okay, in the meantime, let's talk about the rapini. So when you get fresh rapini, you know, you've got to blanch it, you've got to clean it, you've got to blanch it, and then you got to cut it into sizes and all that good stuff. It takes a little bit longer before you saute it. I happened to be at the grocery store the other day and got the shock of my life, especially down here, that they actually had rapini and they had it pre-cut broccolini, pre-cut, washed, and ready to use, and microwavable. So what I am going to do is I actually am going to pierce the bag when I'm ready for it. I'm going to pop it into the microwave for about, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe not that long, maybe not 3, maybe 2, and then I'll saute it. I'm going to do that as soon as my sausage is done, because really, you know what, this looks like a really hard meal to make, or there's a lot of steps, but it is quite easy and quick, and fun to do. All right, not too many more to go here. Feel like a little pasta machine myself. All right, and now when we cook these up, you know, they're gonna take no time whatsoever. And you've got a homemade pasta, very healthy, fast meal. Now, let me tell you something else. You do not need the sausage. The sausage can be eliminated if you want this vegetarian. And that way you would start with olive oil, you'd saute your garlic with some red pepper, you put your rapini in, you cook your pasta, you add it to the dish. I am going to be, putting the sausage in it, so I will be, as soon as that sausage is cooked, I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to put it in, slice it into slices, little pieces, and put it back in with the rapini. All right, we have just about got this done. That's a little guy. I think he's going to go on the side. All right. Look at that, all these little bow ties. And you see this? This is very easy. Easy peasy. And like I said, kids will love doing it. They know what bow ties look like. They know what butterflies look like. And give them both of those references for how it's supposed to look. Okay, there you go. Little bow tie. Put it up there a little closer for you to see it. All right. Here we go. All right, sounds like my food is finishing back there. Let me tell you something about this. If you made this and you let these dry out, you're talking about cooking time at about 8 minutes. If you're cooking these fresh, you're talking about anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how thick your pasta is. All right, that's done. Move these over. And we'll get ready for the next things that we're going to do, which is going to be cooking the rapini. I'm going to poke this in here and stick this in the microwave. Set that for 2 minutes. Check my sausage. Looking good. Okay, fill my water. Some salt in here and get that going. Okay, we just need to wait for this sausage to be done, and as soon as it's done, I'll take it out of the pan, slice it up, and we'll keep going. Okay, we're ready for our next step. I took the sausage out of the pan, and I'm going to slice it on the bias. So we'll have all this sliced up to put back in. Unbelievable what a mess frying does, but probably one of the more reasons why I like being a vegetarian most of the time. But I will taste this tonight. So, I'm gonna slice it all up. There we go. All right, now we got 2 more to go. And I think I can actually put my garlic in. Garlic's going in with my red pepper. And this again was the drippings from the sausage. I put a little bit more olive oil in there. I had to deglaze my pan a little bit because it was sticking, and I used a little bit of white wine to do that. So yes, I deglazed with white wine. And now I added some olive oil to it and some red pepper and my garlic. And we don't want the garlic to turn brown, so we're going to get to that real quick. I know that my rapini is finished, so I'll get that out in a minute. And we'll just put all this together. And then the next step will be cooking the pasta, which we're just waiting for that pan, that water to boil. All right, sausage done. All right, this is cooking. All right, put it up a little bit higher. Get my rapini out. Slice this open. Guess it wouldn't hurt to do this at the top of the pan. There we go. As soon as this cooks up a little bit, garlic is cooking up. And again, like I said, you don't want your garlic to get burnt because it'll have more of a bitter taste than just that nice garlic taste. The rapini is the perfect size. It's gonna go right in here. I hope they have this all the time. I would buy this every day of the week. Love, love, love rapini, or broccolini as they call it. Everybody says something different. Okay, there's that. All right, that'll cook up. As soon as that cooks up for about a minute, I'm gonna put my sausage back in here. This up a little higher. I think I got a piece of broccolini in there. Not going to take very long for my broccolini to get going here. Not at all. Okay, a little bit of salt and pepper at this point. Salt. Okay, and the sausage is going back in the pan. There we go. Let that cook up for a little bit. A little bit more oil. Okay, so we're all set. That's cooking on the stove. We're waiting for the water to come up, and as soon as it does, I will be back. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. My water is boiling, but before and I'm gonna just put all my farfalle in. The reason I use this parchment paper, a little tip for you, is that I can pick everything up really quickly and put it right into the boiling water. So here it goes, going in. Again, I salted my water earlier. I usually, with fresh pasta, give it one quick stir, and then I let it work its own magic and let it cook. Our rapini and our sausage looks great. We've still got enough juice in there. Not worried about that. If we need extra olive oil, we have that ready. I did take all those little pieces that I had and I made them into a little bird's nest. This will go in the freezer. This is great if you just want a little pasta on the side with a piece of meat one night. So, you know, I don't throw away anything. I keep all of my scraps. I'll label this and I'll use it maybe with a side of some chicken or something one night with a little buttered noodles or something. Also great to put in chicken stock if you want just a little quick, you know, soup with some noodles. So just a little tip for you. It's not going to take very long, and we will be done with this. As soon as it comes back to a boil, we'll be in good shape. Okay? Give me a minute. Okay, they're looking really good. I've got them boiling here. The rapini is looking good. And I think it's time to take them out. Okay, the timer's about ready to go off. So I'm gonna take these out very easily with a spider. There you go, there's the timer with the spider. They're gonna go right into the sausage and rapini. And you are going to reserve your water because you might need to add a little bit of water to this. What's really nice about fresh pasta, they all come to the top. Look at this. All right, we're gonna turn this one off. All right. Give this a mix. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Everything's mixing up really good. Okay. And I think just a little scoop of water. A little bit, maybe about a quarter of a cup more in here. But I am going to reserve this water until we've had dinner, in case I need more water. All right. Let's scoop some of this into a plate. We'll finish it off. Some pasta. A couple pieces of sausage here. Nice piece of rapini. There you go, another piece of rapini on top. Turn that one off. Oh, I like to finish this with not only a little cheese, but a little bit more oil. Just a little bit of oil. And some cheese, and if you like it hotter, there is red pepper in there. You can always add a little more red pepper. There you go. Grab me a fork. And let's see how this is. We got ourselves some good pasta with some really nice rapini. And dinner for tonight. Thank you for coming and joining me at my home. Thank you for inviting me into yours. Everybody that's still at home, staying safe, stay safe. If you're out in phase 1, God bless you, just be careful. Remember, don't touch your nose, your mouth, your eyes. So everybody be happy, be healthy, and be safe. And I can't wait to see you again. For now, bon appetito, bon appetit.